of them are more than pals.
Our show can be a little gay,
But if you're not,
that's okay.
you can listen and have fun either way. Xena, Star Wars, Doctor Who, guests and music and reviews. Game of Thrones, Winona too. We promise there's something for you. She nerds out. We're girls that like dirty things. Dirty things.
Hello and welcome to the She Nerds Out podcast. I'm Kat.
I'm Wendy.
This is Tara.
On today's episode, we've got some nerd news. We're going to go to the trailer park. We're going to talk about some hacks. And, just have a good time. Generally have a good time together.
Mm-hmm.
But first, Wendy, can you do me a favor?
What?
What day is it?
Oh, what day is it? Well, the day this podcast drops. The last day of May. That was very fast. By the way, let me just throw out a reminder that we mentioned in the last podcast. We're pre-taping this. So there's not Kenobi talk. We haven't seen it yet. I apologize.
We're talking to you
as
from
soon as possible.
We're in the past right now.
Yes,
We have not
yes.
jumped to the future.
But we'll still be timely. Like May 31st is National Smile Day.
Oh.
Oh,
You
and
know
something
what,
else we could use.
Wendy,
Mm-hmm.
you should smile more.
Calm down. I'm smiling now. Yeah, nobody see that. Smiling. Also National Speak in Sentences Day. So
Okay.
I guess do that if you don't normally. And you know what? The next day is June. We're already to June tomorrow.
My goodness.
I like how June starts off
Pride.
on a
Exactly.
happy note. Say something nice day. So
Yeah. You know what? You should say something nice. If you can't say something nice, you shouldn't say anything at all.
Or
No.
write it.
Or write it. Whatever.
just be nice, for crying out loud. My gosh, there's too many people that aren't nice. Just be nice. Ooh. June 4th, National Hug Your Cat Day.
Aw.
Oh, and then they claw your face. How cute.
That's so cute.
Sometimes. Oh, by the way, I skipped a good one. June 3rd is National Repeat Day. June 3rd is National Repeat Day.
Very good.
See
Nice
what you
job.
did there.
I had to say
That
it
was
just so
good.
I could do that.
That was very good.
June 3rd is National Repeat Day.
Okay.
Okay.
I guess save that for June 3rd. Repeating.
I think, should we just jump into some nerd news then?
Yeah.
Why
Should we
not?
just jump into some
Do it.
nerd news then?
Nerd news.
I see where this is going and I don't like it.
We have breaking nerd news. Well, why don't we just do the news?
Okay.
Well, you know what came out? A really cool issue of Vanity Fair. They've had a history of doing some awesome Annie Leibovitz Star Wars issues with cool photos and articles, and they did it again. And this time it had some beautiful photos of the cast of, like, basically their Disney Plus shows. You got Rosario Dawson as Ahsoka, Pedro Pascal as the Mandalorian. I like how it started off with, like, he's never going to take his helmet off. Now it's like, no, we've seen him. Now we want to see him with his helmet off. And he doesn't have his helmet on in the picture. Of course not. Ewan McGregor. Who does he play again? Oh, Kenobi. That's right. Forgot. Diego Luna as Cassian Andor.
Woohoo.
And I'm just disproportionately excited about Rogue One was amazing. They have this awesome picture of Genevieve O'Reilly's version of Mon Mothma. She's in this gorgeous gown. I mean, Mon Mothma, man, they have done that character a lot of justice. Like, she was barely in Return of the Jedi, and she's just become this really cool looking, she looks great in this.
And great great recasting.
Oh, perfect recasting.
She looks amazing.
They're talking a lot about just the upcoming series of, Cassian, I think drops. I hate that word, drop. It comes out like late summer this year. It's already got 2 seasons planned. They talked a little bit about the Acolyte, which is going to take place like 100 years before we ever saw, like, Star Wars. The Jedi are in these white robes. They're very, like, they don't even get dirty. That's going to be a very interesting, see how much it connects with what we know of Star Wars. It's way, way, way pre-Star Wars. Diego Luna talks about Andor coming up, saying it's like a refugee story. Desperate people fleeing the Empire. the journey of a migrant, and how his character kind of goes from sort of a narcissistic, uninvolved guy, I guess, to what he is in Rogue One, fighting for something bigger than himself. And that I can't wait to see. There's so many, all these shows, like who are they going to bring in? What characters are they not telling us we're going to see that we're going to see? There's no telling who might pop up. Talk about, Mando's coming back, I think late 22, early 23. I think they're really starting to focus on sort of a Marvel convergence of a lot of, especially like Mandalorian, Ahsoka, kind of converging some storylines, characters, that type of thing. It was interesting. They did talk about the beginnings of Mandalorian and how she introduced Jon Favreau to Dave Filoni, and they just nerded out together. And Jon Favreau had all these ideas, for Mandalorian, and then they just worked together, like with Dave's Star Wars knowledge from Clone Wars, and just a marriage made in heaven. Talked about the debate over Grogu, and how I think originally Dave Filoni was like, I don't know. And then he saw like this drawing that basically said, yeah, that'll work. That'll be cool.
It is interesting. Yeah, that part of the article was cool where Kathleen Kennedy said like Dave Filoni was developing an idea for a Mandalorian series, and Jon Favreau independently was coming up with something as well. And so she's like, let's have a play date. So she introduced them, and luckily they got along, and they're like, okay. So they kind of adapted. And yeah, they said that was the big debate, was how Filoni didn't want to bring in this Baby Yoda character, and Favreau did, so they kind of compromised. So he's still mysterious, but you get the cuteness and the fun of having Grogu.
And I think it paid off.
Yeah.
I would think so.
I also like this picture of Kathleen Kennedy from the magazine. The first thing I thought when I saw it, she's like wearing this white kind of V-cut blousey shirt and some dark pants with like a line down the side. I'm like, she dressed like Han Solo on purpose, minus the vest. Because my first thought was like,
yeah,
that's like a Han Solo outfit right there.
Mm-hmm.
Of course, Kenobi's coming up. I don't want to know anything. I mean, it's like less than a week or actually it's already been on. Sorry, we're pre-taping. I'm just so ready to see what all that brings, how good that is. I loved Deborah Chow's directing it. She did some great episodes of Mandalorian. Could not be more excited. But yeah, this whole article was just sort of a overall look at, they did talk also about bringing Hayden Christensen back, and do you do it? And does it take away from or add to what you see in Star Wars? And I think now probably the generation that saw Star Wars at the time, like that was epic, but you look at that lightsaber fight between Kenobi and Vader, and it's so kind of slow. It's sort of like two old dudes fighting. And compared to what they've seen, it's probably not as impactful as it was back in the day. So, and they have that line now about having not seen, not felt his presence since. It's like, when I met you, I was Vetalana. Now, or whatever, when I left you. But, so we'll see. I don't know what they're going to do with the rematch. I feel like it will probably add some sort of extra history to that fight, something to have in your mind when you're watching that fight in Star Wars between Vader and Kenobi. I think it's going to be cool. I'm excited about it. I'm glad they brought Christensen back. And I'm glad he's, will we see him without his helmet? I mean, as in a flashbacky form, or is it all going to be either a scarred face or a helmet? Who knows?
He's got a cool picture in this article where he's kind of doing a rehearsal fight on the soundstage, just right in a doorway. I don't think it's a real rehearsal, but he's in his T-shirt and just regular pants. But it looks like he's got the Darth Vader cape on.
Oh, yeah. There's a fan. I wonder if that fan is blowing to make the cape move.
All right. It's like, okay, we know maybe you can do the moves, but can you do it while your cape's blowing?
Right. Oh, yeah. Rosario Dawson, too. Like, coming out with Ahsoka. And, I'm trying to get through Rebels and Clone Wars and Rebels. I want to see her character's backstory before I watch that. I think that'll add a lot to what you see in that show. They're really putting all in on like this continuing storytelling on Disney Plus, as opposed. Now they've still got the Kevin Feige. We literally looked that up on Google to see how to say it, because who knows how to say Kevin Feige, but now we know Feige. He's involved to some extent. She denies that, I think, in this article, though, right? but yet other articles are coming out about information about the movie he's doing. So I don't know.
There was one, I think it's in the Vanity Fair article. There's a quote I just read from Kathleen Kennedy, and I feel like it's this article, but maybe Wendy, tell me if that sounds familiar. Where she said before Rise of Skywalker even was released, she had decided like, oh, we're gonna take a break. Mm-hmm. We're not gonna, because originally they're like, oh, we're gonna have a Star Wars movie every year. It's gonna be amazing. And now it's been like crickets from the movies.
I think Solo. Now, of course, we talked about this in the last podcast. You can't recast iconic characters, whatever. I mean, I think the fact that didn't just go crazy in the box office made him step back, because I think they were talking about a Mandalore, like a Boba Fett movie at some point. Like I think Disney Plus allowed them to scale back a little bit, and she talks about how these big investments and you have to open huge and all this, but with Disney Plus you can put these and that are longer than you'd get from a couple hour movie, and you get these long, it's a little more controlled, and you don't have to, I guess you plan it, but it's less pressure than.
But also now that she has these two filmmakers who are passionate Star Wars fans who respect the legacy of George Lucas, and who count on him a lot. It sounds like a lot of the times they'll go to him and ask him his advice and his guidance. Compare that to what the movies turned out to be. These these last set of movies. You have these two dudes who know where these shows, where the Disney Plus universe is going, and I think Kathleen Kennedy didn't see anyone like that in the movies, and so they're like, let's just take a break, and maybe someone or a group of people can maybe map out where all the movies should go, and where there's a beginning, a middle, and an end to arcs and stuff like that.
Which they obviously didn't plan out the sequels, so.
And I think that's why they've pulled back on the movies, because they kind of saw what a disaster the Rise of Skywalker was going to be.
Yeah.
And then they're like, let's maybe take a break from the movies and let Disney Plus show how awesome Star Wars can be again.
Yeah, and Disney Plus allows them. They can develop these shows, and they're not forced to come out with films on a regular basis to keep Star Wars alive. You can keep it alive with Disney Plus, and when you make a movie, make it a big deal. Make it a story. Oh, my headset just broke.
Oh no!
Make it a story that you can plan out for like either a trilogy or a standalone or whatever you want to do with it. That's big enough to be a movie. They're talking about the Patty Jenkins, Star Wars Rogue Squadron film. I'm like, had problems, but then all of a sudden, oh no, it's gonna be fine. And so who knows?
Exactly.
Will we see it? I don't know.
Rian Johnson, his thing is on hold.
Yeah, she said about Kevin Feige. Says, I would love to see what movie he might come up with, but right now, no, there isn't anything specifically. Well, who knows? I mean, they're not going to tip their hand on things. I mean, I think we have an article that we're going to talk about next about his Star Wars movie, the first plot hints about the Star Wars movie. So whatever. They always deny things until they're ready to not deny them. They denied Tatiana Maslany, or whatever her name was in She-Hulk, even though she was like, I'm in She-Hulk or whatever. So,
and then she went back and said, no, I'm not in She-Hulk.
Never mind.
I'm not.
But
no.
So it's
just kidding.
I like the article's good. If I see the magazine in a store, I definitely want to get it. I love the pictures. I've always loved these Vanity Fair Star Wars issues. But I'm excited that the cast seems like the people that they've cast are excited about being in Star Wars and the commitment. And I mean, they're 8 to 10 episode shows. They're not complete life commitments. And even what's his name, Mandalorian, Pedro said, it was kind of nice. He's playing a helmeted character, so if need be, he can do just voiceover while other people walk around in the suit. The other actors can't really do that, but in these other shows. But I'm sure they're paid very handsomely, and they they get to be a part of this really cool Star Wars universe that a lot of people would absolutely be thrilled to be in. So, with Dave and Jon Favreau being so involved, I feel good about the future. And it's just let's plan it out. Take a page from Kevin and Marvel, make a plan.
Same.
That's all we want. A little bit of planning, a little bit of continuity, and some really good shows.
It's not much to ask for, I don't think.
I don't think so. Not now. Not when I think Marvel set the bar so high on things like this. When you're bringing, multiple stories and characters and tying it to one direction. Did we talk about this, or did someone just tell me like they just had a planning session for the next 10 years of Marvel? I mean,
Oh yeah,
there's
some
so much
retreat, right?
planning.
They went on a retreat.
Nora Dominic talked about that.
That's right. And there's so much money in this now that can be made, and fans are so invested. It's like you've got to have that plan. You can't just wing it anymore with things like this.
No, unacceptable. Well, then let's transition into this next article. You kind of alluded to it, Wendy. According to denofgeek.com, they spoke with the writer of the Kevin Feige Star Wars movie. His name is Michael Waldron, and he also wrote Doctor Strange in the Multiverse of Madness. So it seems like this could possibly be a standalone film, meaning it's not connected to the Skywalker saga and it's not connected to any other characters that we've seen so far. I'm going to read some quotes, if that's all right.
Sure.
Waldron says, "It's coming along. It's nice to have some time to focus on it." That means it's going to be a while. "And it's fun to get to do something that feels fresh and original. And I'm excited to work with Kevin again and with the team at Lucasfilm. And I love Star Wars, so it's a blast." He then goes on to say, "I'm writing away. I'm enjoying having the freedom on that to do something that's not necessarily a sequel or anything. It maybe has a little bit less of a, it just doesn't have a bunch of TV shows and movies that are servicing on top of the way I did with Doctor Strange. So it's nice. It feels like a different exercise." So yeah, standalone type thing. Maybe new characters and a new time frame that we haven't seen before. Good to know that he's a Star Wars fan, and obviously him and Kevin are doing good work together. So I mean, this can't wait. It'll probably be years before we see it.
Yeah.
I mean, at least now we know concrete things that are coming out on Disney Plus this year. But a lot of it, like, all right, tell me when there's actually something. You'd think with the Patty Jenkins, they gave us that whole completely produced little video just to announce that she was making a Rogue One movie or a Rogue Squadron movie, and then all of a sudden it was like, oh, maybe she's not. There's differences. But yet they took the time to make that whole elaborate thing, and it still may or may not happen. So
I feel like we're gonna get it. It's just gonna be a while because isn't she doing another Wonder Woman?
She's doing sequel? Wonder Woman. She dropped out of doing. She was gonna do that Cleopatra, I think, with Gal, and she dropped out of that.
Yeah.
So, who knows? Call me when it's got a trailer. It's hard to get excited about things that may or may not happen.
Might be a few years.
Might. Several.
Do either of you watch the show Yellowstone?
100% no.
Nor do I. But they have now announced that Helen Mirren and Harrison Ford will star in the next Yellowstone prequel.
I like how
Hold on,
next prequel. There's already a
prequel.
There's that 1883 show. Also, I don't watch it.
Tara, did you say that Helen Mirren and Harrison Ford are going to star in this prequel or whatever the hell they're calling it?
Yeah, that's what I said.
That's crazy.
Well, It's apparently true.
Those are two mega superstars.
And this show is on Paramount Plus.
Good for Paramount
because they've
Plus.
announced that they'll star in the highly anticipated next installment of The World of Yellowstone from Taylor Sheridan, an origin story with the working title of 1932. I guess the other one was called 1883. 1883.
83.
God,
Right. Sorry. I'm sorry.
83.
I made a mistake. I apologize.
Set to debut on the streaming service in December. So
that's quick.
Yeah, it's pretty quick. So they're already working on it.
It's a Western. I don't know how many effects they need to do.
The series will introduce a new generation of the Dutton family and explore the earliest 20th century when pandemics, historic droughts, and the end of Prohibition and the Great Depression all plagued the Mountain West. And the Duttons who call it home. Sounds like a real uplifter.
You know what, though?
Is this a comedy? It's a comedy, right?
You know,
it's actually like a sitcom, like with live audience.
Oh, that's perfect.
I read this article, and you know what this says to me?
Horse costumes.
You know what this says to me? This says when he's getting Paramount Plus, because it's Harrison Ford.
Hey, I got it. We can share an account, Wendy, because I've been watching a heck of, oh, that's right. Never mind. You'll have to get your own, Wendy. But I've been watching it a lot for my Star Trek, and I'm now it's all like a jumbled, like I'm watching all three, Discovery, Picard, and Strange New World. So I'm like, what time am I in? I don't know. But
so CBS Digital or CBS whatever is now Paramount. Okay. It's now Paramount.
Also,
Paramount
the
Plus.
one that Emily Andress maybe thought might pick up.
Paramount Plus.
Yeah, might pick up Winona. Didn't happen or hasn't happened.
Well, we don't know.
Hasn't happened
We don't
yet.
know.
But
We have no idea what's happening.
So maybe good to get Paramount Plus just in case. As Kat had forgotten, and I had too. Helen and Harrison starred in Mosquito Coast together way back in the day.
That's right.
So maybe they've been friends, and they're like, "Hey, if you'll do it," maybe it was one of those like, "Are you gonna do it? I'll do it if you do it." Oh, I'll do it if you do it. It's TV. I know. But I've done TV before, Harrison. It's fine.
But did you see the check that they're gonna?
Yeah,
send?
it's like, come on. We can break the bank on this Paramount Plus thing, Harrison. He's like, good. I need the money because I got a ranch and Callista's doing theater now. Should I make a lot?
like
doing
I keep
that?
Crash.
I keep crashing planes,
Crashing
right?
all my
Crashing my
planes.
plane. You know?
I need more life insurance.
And I like a good Western. Come on, Helen, let's do it.
It must be so hard to insure this guy.
Yeah.
You know?
By the way, when I was in Dallas for my visit home, guess who was in Fort Worth, which is like an hour away? Harrison Ford.
Harrison Ford.
I think he flies into that airport for whatever reason. So he was hanging out at
Was
some
he just
restaurant.
visiting? How did you know?
Because
How
one
did
of
you know?
the anchors for the station that I used to work at had posted a picture. Like there was a picture of the waitress standing by him. It's like, someone posted a picture and it got out like Harrison Ford came to our restaurant for Worth. So it made the
That's
news.
awesome.
Yeah. I was like, damn, if I'd known.
Damn.
Get that over there. It's like
A Helen Mirren mention also takes place in Hacks, which we'll talk about later.
Oh, really? I forgot
Yeah.
what it
I'm
was.
trying to remember.
Okay, fine. I'll
Oh
about it
yes,
when we get to it.
Yeah, yeah.
It was
I remember,
pretty
I
funny.
remember.
Okay.
Very funny
Well,
moment.
Oh my god, that's such a funny
Yeah.
scene. That's insane.
Mm-hmm.
She's insane. Earlier this week, I was so excited because Wendy sent me a list. She sent us a list in our thruple text chain. And it's a text chain now because Tara's still kicked off of
Yeah,
Facebook.
still can't get my
Facebook did her
fucking
dirty.
Facebook. Yeah. I don't know. It says it might be permanently deleted, even though they never sent me any.
Whoa!
Tara,
I'm sorry.
I'm freaking out a little bit.
I tried to go to your page.
I don't know what to
You're
do.
my friend, and it said this account has been deleted.
Shit.
Whoa.
I know.
Well, wait a minute. Because I've had friends in Facebook jail for 30 days. How long has it been?
Well, it was, I think, April 27th.
So it's coming up on a month.
Oh, man.
Or it has
They
been a
can't just delete your whole fucking account.
Yeah, and it said like under review because I posted once in like a couple months or something, and it was about my bike ride. And it's like your account's under review, and no one. I've tried every option, all the different email addresses. There's no way I can't even access the help when my account's like this. It just says your page is under review. That's what it says. The only page I get when I log in. There's no contacts. I've searched random ways to contact Facebook. They don't answer the phone. Don't give me the phone number. It just tells you all the emails. And then those people don't answer those emails. So yeah, I'm a little bummed because there's a lot of pictures on there that I don't have anywhere else.
Yeah, no kidding.
So
I'm sorry, Tara. Well, if anybody knows how we can get Tara back on Facebook,
Do it quick, because I don't want you to
please let us
delete it.
know.
yeah. Yeah, because at first it said content not available. And now that was the first I just heard that it said it had been deleted.
Well, that's when I try to go to it. So, I mean, I don't know if that's
Wow.
accurate or just, yeah, it doesn't say like.
Well,
she's in
Kat, when I
jail.
asked you to check, you had said that it was content not available or something like that,
Yeah.
like a couple weeks ago.
And like if on the messenger thruple, you're there, but you can't I can't click on your profile.
Yeah, like I
It's
can
just
still go to log in, like my picture's there. But once I log in, I only have a page. It says your page is under review. You've been flagged for violating community standard or something. Your page is, and then when I go, okay, the only option it gives me then is to log out. Like when I go back, like I can't contact help. I can't do anything. I just hit log out. And then it gives me a screen that says, are you sure your account will be deleted in 5 days? Like it counts down the days every time I do it. In 5 days, are you sure you don't want to request a review? While in the background, there's a page that says your page is under review because I've already requested it. It was the first thing I did when they told me,
Yeah, of course.
So there's some kind of glitch going on in the Facebook matrix, and there's no one to contact about it. That's the most frustrating part is no one. There's no way to get a status. There's no way. And I've done some searching, and some people that's happened to their account, they have some kind of like reference number or something to reference. I never got anything like that. I just
What the fuck?
I just got an email saying your page has been flagged and you know, do you want to review? And I said, yes, review.
Okay.
And then now it says that on my account. So I'm just, nothing I can do about it now.
Well, that's frustrating. I'm sorry, Tara. That sucks.
Yeah, I'm more concerned about all the pictures that are on there.
Yeah, of course. Well, let's talk about some sci-fi movies.
Somebody can help me out. That would be really great.
Hashtag help Tara, please. Let's get Tara's Facebook account back up. All right. Well, anyways, Wendy.
Well, that's a fun
Wendy
segue.
says-
How about a list of the 30 best sci-fi movies of all time, according to
Wendy-
Entertainment Weekly?
Wendy sent us this list,
yeah.
and we're going to tear it apart because there's
Well,
some obvious
There's
omissions.
definitely, I think it's a good list overall, but I think there's some glaring omissions that some of them people pointed out in the comments, which comments are always a tricky thing to walk through that cesspool. But so, you could think of the standard, Dark City. I was not a fan of. That's on there. The Fly, I've never loved, but people, here's one, Primer. That was made in Richardson, Texas. A lot of it at the Richardson, Texas library. Some of it. It was a very $7,000 movie. The guy was he's a really smart guy, and he just decided he wanted to make a movie. And it's like a time travel, they built like a time machine thing, but it's very they shot it on, I think, 16 millimeter. And there's some stuff in there that some weird kind of roughness to the film that they're just because we kind of messed something up, but then we decided it looked cool, so we left it in there. But there's just sort of this very low budget thing. And then it won the Sundance Grand Jury Prize when it was released. And I don't know if you ever made anything else, but it was really good. It's well worth watching. Solaris, Back to the Future, which, people love. Day the Earth Stood Still, Snowpiercer, Night of the Creeps, Dune Part 1. Now here's where I get to it just came out.
Longevity, people.
Let's let it live a bit before we put it on the top. It was really good. But let's let it breathe a little bit, see how it, I think it probably will hold up, but I don't know.
This is one list where I have to say, scrolling through the comments, I think the notations in the comments actually make a better list than this actual list.
Huh.
Well, let me refresh because they may have added more comments. The ones I do like that are on there: Contact, Alien, Empire Strikes Back, no Star Wars, which is kind of
right.
That's
on the comments list.
You don't have Star Wars. You don't have any of the things that followed it, and I think it holds. I think Empire's, arguably a overall better film. And I'm sure they didn't want to put two films from the same Star Wars universe, but you can't have a top 30 of all time list without Star Wars on it.
No, Star Wars was a breaking film.
How about The Matrix?
I think it deserves a spot.
Not on the
sure.
list. Yeah,
I think The Matrix definitely. That was kind of it. It was a groundbreaking film with its own way, for sure. The Matrix,
definitely.
The original Matrix.
Jurassic Park isn't on this movie, on this list.
It's also in the comments. Yep.
Yeah.
RoboCop.
I don't care.
Galaxy Quest is on the list. So that makes me very happy.
Agree with that one.
As is Close Encounters of the Third Kind, which is one of my all-time favorites.
The Terminator, the original Terminator's on here.
And the Aliens, the sequel, wasn't on here, so I think people pointed that. But I think again, they didn't want to put both, and I think the original Alien, I think Aliens, the second one, it's also sci-fi. It has more of a action adventure as opposed to it's a different tone than the first one. So they maybe just went more just pure alien sci-fi with it. I don't know.
Yeah,
I get it though. Aliens was a great film too. Children of Men. Have you seen that, Kat? I don't know if it belongs on this list, but it was mentioned in the comments, and that's one of my films I love.
It's definitely sci-fi. So
for sure, but it's just a great film. I don't know if it's
movie.
top 30, but it's a fantastic movie. Tara, there's some that you thought of besides
The Fifth Element, also in the comments, not on the list. Avatar.
Somebody said, seriously, this list is a joke. It's not a joke. It's not a joke. They've got great
I didn't even
films
like
on here.
Avatar, but I thought it was more impactful than a lot of these on the list.
If 2001 A Space Odyssey, for sure. Invasion of the Body Snatchers, I liked it. I don't know if that I would put it on over some other things. Planet of the Apes, for sure, I think should be on there. WALL-E, possibly. The Thing, I don't know. I feel like some of these they put on to give more of a variety than Starship Troopers, for real. I feel like when that came out, that was
Oh.
kind of people weren't thrilled about it. And all of a sudden it's kind of gone to this level of like, ooh, Starship Troopers.
How is that movie on this
I don't know. To me, that's what is this? Stalker?
Minority
Never even heard
Report.
of it.
Was in the comments. Thought
I
that could
really
be
like that
on there.
movie. I don't think it's top 30. I think it's got a top 30 scene. It's got one of my favorite film scenes, but I don't think the whole, if you're going purely top 30 best, I don't know if I put it there. But it's really good. And then they had, they have to have some like them from 1954. Was it really great? Is it one of the best or was it like one of the best at that time? So they put it on the list. Predator? I mean, it was a big thing. I don't know if I put Predator in the top 30. I don't know. I mean, it's not
That's a
a lot of
tough
it's
one.
opinion. A lot of it's like probably impact on film, which is
Yeah,
again,
Metropolis from 1927.
Yeah, that's considered one of the first
The
sci-fi
OG.
movie ever.
Okay.
It
and
was kind
Sam
of-
Esmail
that was-
is remaking it in a series form.
It was revolutionary,
Yeah.
for sure.
As with any list, there are things to tear apart, but I do think there are some pretty glaring omissions on this one. But again, make it top 40 and make everybody happy. Why did you pick 30? Why stop at 30? Make it top 10. I don't know. Like to me, Star Wars is top 10, and they didn't even put on their top 30. So, I don't know. Dark City is one that I feel like people really
never
raved about it.
seen
I didn't like it. I don't. Maybe I need to rewatch it. I feel like
I've
I
never
do
seen
need
it.
to rewatch that because maybe I was too young to appreciate it at the time. But The Fly was just gross when he's turning into a fly. But I remember people loved it. I don't know. I just like that Primer made the list. I'm glad that film's not
I
being
guess
forgotten.
I gotta check that
Check
out.
out Primer just for the story of how it was made. It's interesting and
Well, it's
it was-
available on Amazon.
Yeah, it was a good movie. There's I don't know. It's a list. People always Snowpiercer again. Snowpiercer. I liked it. I don't know if it's a top 30 of all time sci-fi movie by any means.
Yeah,
I would definitely
it's
take that one off the list, but
Let's go to the trailer park! Yay! Step right up, step right up. Welcome to the She Nerds Out trailer park. Well, this is not a sci-fi movie, but it's a gay rom-com. It's called Bros. It's written by Billy Eichner and Nicholas Stoller, who also directed it. And it's starring Billy Eichner and Luke McFarlane. Some others as well.
and other
Harvey
people.
Firestein, Dot Marie Jones. She's a lesbian actress that you will
From
recognize
Glee.
as soon
She
as you
was-
see her. She's from Glee. And I mean, I could name everybody else, but let me tell you what: everyone in this cast is queer. Even the straight characters are played by queer people, which is really fun. The trailer is the trailer that released. There's two versions, I guess. There's the not safe for work trailer, and then the more sort of toned down trailer. It looks really funny. It looks really cute. It looks like a fun watch. And the idea is that Eichner he's like a very successful podcaster, and he's been approached by Hollywood to write a gay rom-com because, gay relationships are just like straight ones. And he's like, no, they're not. That's bullshit. They're totally different. And this is why. So it's really funny. It looks like kind of a fun, satirical look at gay relationships, which I'm on board for.
Looks like it comes out September 30th.
I'm on board. I was I don't know. I get what it's trying to do.
What?
I'm a little worried that it's going to really play into a lot of stereotypes that are already out there about some queer relationships and
What can you possibly
reinforce
be
some of
talking
those
about?
stereotypes that I don't feel is true. We don't have to go as far as saying gay relationships and straight relationships are the exact same. I don't think that's true, but I think they're really kind of overcorrecting. Maybe I've only seen 2 minutes of this trailer, so could be.
Got it.
I just felt a little apprehension of some of the messaging. The characters that have been portrayed, the gay characters, the queer characters, really reinforced a lot of stereotypes that I saw. And I mean, we can, some of it's funny, but I feel like it could be problematic if they choose to go far enough and don't make it realistic. Right now, it seemed very cartoony to me. And yes, it's funny because if it's supposed to be a fun, romantic rom-com, whatever. But if they're going to project a lot of those gay stereotypes and rely on them to be the funny part, I think it could be problematic.
Well, you can't blame the straight people who made it, can you? Because it's all.
Well, that's why it's all
the writing
also.
And the cast is all. If they're all gay, then
I get what it's trying to do. It's not. People say everybody's love is love is love. It doesn't mean it all looks the same.
Yeah.
Doesn't mean it all looks the same. But I think what they chose to portray in this trailer, that's all I have to judge on, was really driving in a lot of stereotypes and a lot of it's us against the straight people. That's what I got.
I mean that's.
It seems kind of it's a movie, so I'm sure it'll be fun to watch.
I see what you're saying. I see you. I hear you. I respect your opinion.
Thank you.
I would say, obviously, we're judging this off of a trailer, so we have no idea what we're talking about. But I hope what you're saying does not carry through the whole thing, and like we kind of turned, we turned it around at the end.
I hope that exactly. I see where they're kind of leading with these messages. I hope the movie itself takes the time to focus on other things or the relationship at hand, not just really make this just a overwhelmed with views and us versus them mentality, which I also don't think is the answer to the
right. And I mean, I think if you look at sort of non-queer rom-coms, like with straight storylines, those are very cliche, and those are those buy into a lot of stereotypes, like straight stereotypes. So maybe again, no idea how this movie actually lands, but I'm interested. It looks funny, and I love the fact that it's all queer cast. So
yes,
we'll see.
Yeah, I'm very excited.
We shall see.
We shall see.
And hunky hunk, Luke McFarlane.
Yes, and that's why I was like, wait, it's an all queer cast, and he's in it. What? I had to Google it.
Yeah, who knew? I had no idea.
Yeah,
cool.
good looking dude. Hallmark sweetheart, right?
Okay.
Didn't you say he just signed like an exclusive Hallmark
just
deal?
a couple weeks ago he signed a big deal with Hallmark. As this trailer's dropping, he's getting BJs from multiple dudes. In the not safe for work version of the trailer.
Sure, Hallmark is thrilled. Good for you, Luke McFarlane. Hey, I guess let's talk about some hacks. Let's hack it up.
2.
Now we're a little behind because again
Y'all
we
are.
pre-recorded.
Oh wait, I guess we
And-
all will be by the time this airs, huh?
Exactly, but also, Tara, I think you and I've only watched the first 2 episodes, correct?
Yep. That's right.
So Wendy, try to remember where
Well,
we're caught up to.
I've
okay?
got all my guides open to help out with me.
Perfect.
You remember
Okay,
last
good.
season ends with Ava. Let's start with getting her name right. Ava had just sent that email to those TV producers with all this scathing, bad, like, here's how horrible Deborah Vance is and how she treats people and all these horrible secrets about her life to use in their TV show. And that was when she was mad. Deborah had slapped her and she was drunk and on taking some drugs. And she sent this email. And then later, Deborah shows up at her father's funeral. It's like it's all good and they're definitely care about each other. And then she remembers that she had sent that email. And so that's out there. So, and you guys have seen the first 2 and spoilers if you haven't watched Hacks yet. But anyway, part of that was like a big thing. Like she's freaking out. She's calling her boss agent guy about you got to bury this email. She's called the producers. And let me say, the phone call she makes to the woman who's like one of the producers that got the email, that was totally filmed where I work. I was looking, it's like, that's our lot. And I've seen Hacks. Like they shoot Hacks, at least parts of it there. And I even think the guy's office, I was looking out the window, the view of the agents. I was like, that kind of looks like the view outside of that big building where I went to my orientation. But anyway, not that it's there, but yeah. So that was her just kind of walking around the Universal Studios lot where I work on the phone. Nice. But so she's trying to bury it and she's talking to him about burying it. And, but I thought at first, is this going to go on through the whole, like, is this going to be a thing through this season and building to this moment? Luckily, it's all kind of sorted out to some extent by episode 2 when she comes clean and tells Deborah Vance that she sent the email. So I was glad that it wasn't just going to keep hanging in there. But yeah, they're going on a tour because Deborah Vance decides she needs to take this new material on the road. And
they're
so
they're painting over her face at the old casino where she used to perform. She's like, you know what? We gotta go.
I gotta get out of this town.
She's still like, her daughter's marrying that MMA fighter. Her daughter invites her to his match, which the guy's getting the crap beat out of him.
That was awesome.
The other dude, and she's like, you know, you get back up there and you find his weakness and you punch him. It's like because she's like her ex-husband guy, the guy in Vegas, Peter McDonald is his name. But anyway, the guy who plays her ex-husband, he's there with a woman that he's joking. She's joking about
Chris McDonald.
Is that her ex-husband or is that her ex manager?
I think it was both.
Flame type who
Maybe
also
Flame
owns the casino where she had been a resident at for like 30 years.
Yeah, it's that. But I think were they married or they at least had a thing?
They definitely had a thing. I don't know if they were married.
But
and her whole thing was that he always ended up with much younger women.
Yeah. But not this time.
This particular night, he brings his new woman who is more age appropriate, and Deborah's like, "What the f?
Yep.
Now you're going to be with someone age appropriate?"
Like, and then the
really
guy
spurns her to cheer on and stick it.
And not only that, the guy who replaced her in the hotel where she was the big headliner, and they put up his face instead of hers.
Yeah,
he's there, the DJ guy, and he's rooting for the other guy. So she's like, "You got to beat the crap out of him," and he does. He goes out there and beats the smack out of this other dude, and
because he dance. God damn it.
Because the thing is, Deborah's daughter has really said, you know, he really wants to get to know you more as her new husband, MMA fighter. Yeah, he is like striving for your approval all he wants. Exactly. You know, it wouldn't really mean the world to him if he showed up. Like he really wants you to like him and feel like he's part of the family. So Deborah uses that in that moment of like, okay, he can't lose this. She goes down there. She basically says, "Come on, son, you can do this." You know, really plays into the whole,
you're a Vance, goddammit.
Yeah.
And then she gets blood all over.
Yeah. The final smack gets blood on her face.
And that episode is aptly titled "There Will Be Blood." And in the final punch where he knocks a guy out, his blood splatters on her. It's great. And she's like, yeah.
Well, and this whole time too, Ava's seeing all this and like her violent, like, hit him where it hurts. Like how Deborah is acting. She's like, "Oh my gosh, she's going to kill me. She's literally going to kill me" when she finds out about this email. And then she kind of decides, we're going on the road. You know, that rejuvenates her. Like, I'm going to show them, we're going to take this on the road. We're leaving tonight. On the way out of town, they get her daughter's future husband's paintball gun and shoots up the face of the replacement DJ guy.
And Jimmy, Ava, and Deborah's agent says, "Okay, then just stay away from her. You got to get some distance. Stay away from Deborah, okay, until this blows over." And then, of course, they're on a road trip together.
By the way,
perfect.
Jimmy and Kayla, they start the show with their whole talking to HR about the whole thing from the hotel last time with Kayla. I could care less. I'm tired of Kayla. I mean, I'm not nothing against the actress. Just the whole amount of time they spend on her character and Jimmy. I don't care. I'm tired of her. She's not funny to me. The whole storyline with them is not funny to me. So whatever.
Yeah.
Well, you know, the guy that plays Jimmy was one of the co-creators.
I like him. Okay. But yeah, I think that's why he and Kayla get as much time as they do, but whatever.
I think so too.
So they take off on the road. Again, they're stopping on the next episode. They're stopping at like these little roadside stops. They're having a good time. Deborah's singing in the car. Ava's all nervous because this email, she keeps like, I'm sorry I have to pee so much. And she's like going and calling Jimmy to, what's the deal? Jimmy tries to make a deal with, I guess, the agent. Or so it's Ming Na Wen.
That's right.
And
the agent of the
Right.
showrunner that wants to use Deborah's
and he's actually
example.
kind of successful. Like she's like, hey, I get it. I'll make sure it's buried. It's all good. And then finds out like he was like a
He was trying to
something about
offload his
the
property.
home, something
Yeah.
like that, and basically
He was gonna buy her
Right.
house and he backed out.
yeah, because of like mold, discovery of
Yeah.
mold, and he cost her $500,000 in the sale. She's like, oh, where this email's gonna live? Like she's just gonna. He's like, I'm sorry, I'll pay you extra. I'll buy it. And she's like, no, you're screwed. But I like Ming Na in this. I thought she was.
Yeah.
fun.
She was great.
I hope we
She
see her
plays an
again.
asshole, really.
I know you
well.
rarely see her playing that kind of character. I like it. It's fun.
It's really fun.
And again, I knew she was in it, but I just had forgotten. I'm like, oh God, Ming Na Wen. So the email's alive and well, but he talks. So in the last episode where he and Kayla had this thing, and the HR says, well, I can claim that you have anger issues, and for her own safety, we have to move her to someone else, to another office or desk, whatever, and get you a different assistant. And he's like, that's great. I'll take it. It's like, but it goes in his file, but whatever, gets rid of Kayla. So then in this episode, Kayla's the daughter of the guy who owns the company. And so the guy who owns the company says, my wife and I are going to go off on this trip, and I want it to be a good trip. In so many words is what he says. And, but right now Kayla's not happy. And if Kayla's not happy, my wife's not happy, then I'm not happy. So let's let Kayla come back and be her assistant. And for that, I'll bury the email. I'll make sure I'll talk to my people. We'll get this email buried. So the email thing is fine. Kayla's back as his assistant, replacing the awesome assistant that was temporarily there. And, but too late, Ava, they go to Deborah's psychic, which was kind of funny. And, and they, during this whole psychic visit, and there's like, they're turning over Deborah's tarot cards, and one of them is like the Tower, which means you're going to find out this horrible truth or something like that. And then they take a picture of Ava's aura, which is all blue because she's such a good, honest person. So Ava then ends up feeling like she has to tell Deborah about the email, which she does, even though
where did she decide to tell her?
Was it a rock shop?
It was like
Oh,
a gift
yeah.
shop, like
That's right,
a rock and crystal shop. And Deborah doesn't take the news well.
Well, first she's like, okay, well, who would be who's in it? Like who's signed?
Yeah, that's right.
Like maybe because Ava's like, maybe it won't even get picked up. It's not even.
That's right.
She's like, who signed?
And when she said that, I was like, oh, maybe she's okay with it. Maybe bad publicity is good publicity.
Right.
And she's going to be like, okay, no problem. But then what happened to her?
And Ava goes, Helen Mirren? And Deborah goes, of course it's gonna fucking get picked up. And she throws some more shit at her.
She trashed the place.
Yeah, she starts throwing shit at Ava, like legitimately trying to hit her.
And I like how the lady owns the shop runs out. She's like, I'll buy it or whatever. Like, I'll buy whatever.
I'll pay for everything I break.
Oh my God. I'll buy what I break. Yeah, it was but then
So there's no bearing it now once Helen Mirren's attached.
Oh no.
Oh no.
It's
happening.
happening.
And Ava's like,
well,
we're
it
not
was
gonna use your
happening.
name. No one will even know it's you. It was like,
Is this okay? So you guys haven't seen how much I've seen. I'm trying to see. There's a scene that's coming up that I don't think was in this.
Well, so you look for that. So then Ava's like, okay, well, I must be fired. So they go back to the hotel, the Safari Inn, which is actually in Burbank. And she packs up her bag. She walks outside, and there's no car. Deborah's car's not there. So she's like, cool. She calls a lift, and then here comes Deborah. Deborah pulls up. It's like, oh, okay, they're going to get through this. Like, Deborah's being a bigger person.
Oh,
So she's...
yes, go ahead.
Is there something before this?
It was the scene
Go for
where they then go to dinner. He comes to her room and says, let's, to go to dinner. And where she forces Ava to read the entire email and
so
all
tough.
the horrible things. And especially like a lot of it, and I think for a while, some of it, like, and I forget, there was one line, and now I don't remember what it was, but it actually made me laugh. I can't remember what the line was, but it was pretty funny.
Even Deborah seemed to be like kind of tickled
Right.
by some
And
of
that's the
it.
thing.
Like,
she was
like,
kind of amused by it. Oh,
She's like,
something
"It's
about
kinda
how
funny."
she said, like, an assistant's baby. She said, why would you want maternity leave? Why would you want to spend that much time with that thing? Because the baby was so ugly or something. But then, so she's kind of smirking at that. And then but then Ava reads the part where she's like, how her daughter is a drug addict and sells horrible pictures of Deborah to the tabloids, but Deborah allows it. And that's how messed up it is. And then that's when she really, I feel like because a lot of it, Deborah was kind of like, yeah, a lot of this is true. And maybe realizing I am kind of horrible. But then when it kind of got the daughter involved, then she
Right.
I
kind of
think she
changed
says,
her
like,
tone.
because
I have it here. She says, their
read it.
relationship could be repaired if Deborah would just tell her she's proud of her, but she won't even do that.
Now it's messed up.
And then it says, the truth is Deborah Vance is a bully. And the worst kind, one who thinks she's the victim. Every person in her life is on her payroll and would never be around her if their livelihoods didn't depend on it, myself included. It's her own fault she's so lonely, though she's too selfish to ever admit it. I think that's why she needs her adoring fans, because no one in her life actually loves her. Ouch.
That was painful.
Yeah.
That was Ava and
Painful.
Hannah was great. Like that whole scene was so good. I mean, the two of them together are the why this
That
show
scene,
so works. They're so
because
great.
Ava, even in the middle, she just stops. She's like, please don't make me read the rest of it, because she knows
Yeah.
it's about to get real mean.
Such a good scene.
And then like I said, she picks her up, and then they're hitting the road. She thinks she's left her, but then they, and that cool car, which for some unnecessary reason the doors open backwards, which I was like,
Yes.
is that really an improvement, or just
confusing.
like, how do we make this car different? Let's open the doors backwards, whatever.
It's complicated.
And then everything seems all fine and good till she's like, yeah. And then the agent Jimmy calls about the lawsuit for, I guess, breaking the
Right.
NDA.
You're being
It's
sued.
like, oh, you haven't heard yet? Deborah's, while she's sitting next to Deborah,
Yes.
Deborah's suing you for breaching your NDA.
So yeah, haven't you ever been sued? Like, what's the big deal? It's like, it's no big deal.
Yeah.
It's just going to cost you a lot of money.
Here's the thing, though.
Ava's
Here's the
fucked.
thing. Y'all haven't seen the next two. And they're still talking lawsuit. Basically, then episode 3, they hit the road. Laurie Metcalf shows up.
Oh my God. Really?
Yeah. Marcus is back, her assistant Marcus. He has an interesting storyline that starts kind of with his whole, what he's going through. I will just say this. There is one line where she's talking to this guy on the bus with the tour bus, like one of her
Who's
other
talking to
assistants,
her?
I guess.
Deborah.
And he said something. She comments on the lawsuit, or maybe Ava says something about the lawsuit, and the guy's like, oh, no, I think Ava's talking to him. He's like, oh, weird. She usually runs all her lawsuits through me. I have a feeling she's not really doing it. Maybe she told Jimmy she was going to do it. Deborah's not stupid. What's she going to get from Ava? I think she's putting her through hell. I don't think there's really going to be a lawsuit, because she's like, what does Ava have to give her? And she's joking with her about, like,
Unless she really wants
condo.
to ruin Ava's actual
could
life
be,
because of
could
her.
be. But it's just, who knows? I mean, there may be really a lawsuit, but just when this guy had this line of like, oh, usually I know about all her lawsuits, like that made me think, all right, maybe this is not a real one.
Interesting.
Or it could have just been a line.
Okay.
But
Or
anyway,
it's going to be for like $10 or something.
right, exactly. She's just going to put her through hell getting there. But
She's teaching her a lesson.
definitely the next couple episodes are pretty good. I really like the good Deborah Ava stuff. I'm not going to say much about them. I will say episode 4, they end up on a gay cruise. I'll say it's pretty funny. Neither one can get out of their own way. And Tara and Kat, I will say this: in episode 4, don't worry, everything turns out okay. That's all I'm going to say.
What is it about an animal?
Everything turns out okay.
Good
Oh,
call.
no.
That's all I'm saying. It's fine. The puppy's fine. The puppy's fine.
Okay.
I was nervous for a second.
I hate
The puppy's
that.
fine. It's fine.
Well, thank you for the heads
The
up.
puppy's a good actor, and he turns out okay.
No, that means that we have to see it suffer in some
No,
way.
it's not really suffering.
And then when he says it's only
no,
no,
it's not. You don't see
upsetting
it
for me.
suffer. It's fine. Trust me. It's okay. It's okay. And the vet
Okay.
makes a good call. It's okay.
Thank you. All right. Well, thank you for the.
You're
warning.
welcome. So
I'm gonna be worried about that.
That's
it's
gonna stress
fine.
me out for the next
It's
2 weeks.
fine. It's fine. So it's pretty funny. The next two are really good too. So I'm loving they're back. Like the supporting cast, it's fine. You know, they're I don't know. And Laurie Metcalf, like I said, shows up to me because I still watch the Connors. I love the Connors. She's kind of playing a different version of how she plays Jackie on the Connors
really?
now in a little bit. Just, I mean, she's fun. It just reminds me of Jackie, but on a bus. You know, I don't know. But I love Laurie Metcalf, so I don't care. But yeah,
She's
so
great.
good stuff. I'm excited they're back. Yeah, anytime Ava and Deborah are together, then the two of them, I love it. I love this show.
It's the show.
You know, they get too much into the supporting cast. I'm like, okay, we'll see where it goes. But I love the two of them. Can't get enough.
Yeah, it's a great show.
Here's a show I'm watching that I like to throw out there for a recommendation.
A reco.
Severance. Tara, I don't know if it's a show you'd like because it's more moody. It's sci-fi. I mean, there's nothing like horrible or scary.
Is it
about
sci-fi? I thought it was about a business.
No, it is.
Oh,
But there's a sci-fi-ness to it.
okay.
For sure. It's called Severance. It's got Adam Scott from Parks and Rec. Ben Stiller is a big, he directs a bunch of them. I don't know if he's involved in producing. I think he is, but he's directed a lot of them and creating. Yeah.
Cool.
Well, it says created by Dan Erickson and directed by Ben Stiller, but you know, he probably was involved creating it too.
I made a mistake, and I apologize.
Well, he might be. I mean, this is Wikipedia. They're not always completely accurate. Well, here's the premise. Here's a premise. Well, they work for Lumen Industries, and Lumen uses a, quote, severance medical procedure to separate the non-work memories of some of their employees from their work memories. So Mark drives up to work. He gets out of his car. He switches out, like he has a badge that gets him in the building, and then he switches out like his watch, his badge, a whole bunch of things in this little safety deposit box looking thing. He goes down the elevator. As he's going down the elevator, it's this kind of effect that's part performance and part maybe there's some kind of camera thing happening. Like he's like, oh, I'm going to work. And he's like, and then he's like, perfect employee who has no idea who he is outside. And they even refer to them as their innies and their outies. So the innies, he works, they're this data mining group that their job is there's all these numbers on the screen and they have to put them in various boxes of categories that you don't know what they're putting where, why. And, but there's every once in a while, there's this group of numbers that's scary. How do you know they're scary? You'll just know it. And you put those in a particular box, the scary numbers. But yeah, and it starts with this new girl. His friend Petey has just all of a sudden left or quit, unbeknownst to all of them. And then there's this new girl who like basically shows up on a table. She has no idea who she is, where she is, what's happening, because that's her innie that just woke up basically.
Wow.
And, you know, they ask all these questions and that's sort of, it's like this weird initiation to the job. And their Audi is forced to, well, not forced, but when they take this job, their Audi records a video message to play for the innie that says, you're here because I put you here. Like, don't worry, you're supposed to be here. And to tell their work self what's going on a little bit. So it's just about their work group. And then, you know, they leave the on the elevator, they go home, have no idea. They know they work at Lumen. They just don't know what they do there. So that's sort of the setup of it, but it's got
fascinating
John Turturro, Christopher Walken, Patricia Arquette, Dyken Lachman. I don't know if that's how you're saying it right, but she's like from Dollhouse. She's been in a ton of stuff. But yeah, it's so good. It's one that I was really into. And then like there was an episode that something about it, the use of music just got me even more into the show. And I absolutely love this show. And it was so good. And then it ends and I'm like, oh my God, when's season 2? And they are doing a season 2. And it does have a little gay storyline that I would have never seen coming between the two people it's with.
I know why I was confused.
Why were you confused?
I thought you were that you were watching the show Succession. That's the show I thought you were. I was like, wow, really interesting. She's really into that show. But now I'm understanding it. I have seen the previews for Severance.
Severance, yes. Which is the whole look of the show. And then there's this guy who plays like sort of Patricia Arquette's character is well, she's the boss, but then of course there's people over her. There's like a board, but Tramell Tillman as Milchick. He's sort of the guy who walks around and keeps everybody in line a good bit. He's cool. I like him. He's all at once like very friendly, but also very scary at the same time. And it's one of those shows that you just kind of don't want to say too much about. But I don't even remember why I started watching it. I don't know if I like was just looking at Apple. It's on Apple Plus. I don't know if I just like saw the trailer or saw a picture or just looking for something to watch, but I did, and I ended up really, really loving that show.
Well, if you got the Apple TV working and you're waiting for season 2, you know what you should watch? Dickinson.
Ah.
Dickinson.
Okay.
With Miss Haley Steinfeld.
Mm-hmm.
There are worse things.
Maybe I'll
I
just
haven't watched that yet.
dive
I'm gonna
in.
check that out.
One of these. Well, let me try to see if I can get through Rebels and Clone Wars.
So like next year.
Yeah. Maybe I'll take a break.
How many seasons of Dickinson?
There's only
are there?
3, and there's only like
Okay.
8 to 10 episodes a season.
All right.
Yeah.
Well, I do want to watch Severance. I feel like that's going to be something that Leah and I watch
think
together.
you would be happy you did. It's very cool.
Cool.
It's very
Yeah.
good.
It's on the list.
Yeah, I can't wait for season 2.
Awesome. All right. Well, there you go.
That's that.
And listen, if we've made any kind of mistakes during this recap, apologies.
Go watch the show. Make up your own mind.
Yeah. I mean, you can have your own podcast.
So, Kat, what are you doing this weekend?
Oh, you mean this weekend right now? In the
In
future?
the future, but also the past.
What? So confusing. Sounds like Severance.
A little bit. Oh, we should have our podcast selves and our normal selves.
Well, this weekend, I'm going to be at ERP Expo in New Orleans,
Nice.
ERPing it up, having a great time. Wendy, where are you going to be?
Well, I believe at the time of this podcast, I will have been to the Star Wars
right.
Con the weekend
We'll
before.
have so much to talk about when we get together again.
We will.
Tara, what are you
My friendship with you went after meeting.
going to be doing?
I'll be riding my bike, getting ready for my race next
Woohoo!
week.
Huge, epic.
And we also have another big week coming up after that. ERP Division
Oh
Expo.
my goodness. We'll be there.
What are we doing there?
Well, Kat's got bigger plans than we do.
I don't know about that. I'll be moderating 2 of the panels. I got a panel on Friday and I got a panel on Saturday, so that's exciting.
And Sunday we'll be doing our panel, our live pod.
It's so exciting, guys. We're gonna. This is so great. I'm so excited that we get to do this.
Me too.
It's kind of a big deal.
Yeah, and then I'll be leaving your asses and going on my trip.
You're walking off the stage
Suckers.
into a car, and
Whisked away to Scotland.
so exciting. I'm so excited for you. You're gonna have a good time.
Once again, if you're in the UK, hit me up. Write us at She Nerds Out Podcast.
Nope.
Nope, that's not right. At shenerdsout@gmail.com.
Or how about our Twitter at Snot Podcast with 1D?
Our Facebook and Instagram are at She Nerds Out Podcast.
You can go to shenerdsout.com. It's your one-stop stop and get some merch. Buy us a beer. Leave us a voicemail. Send us a message. It's all things Snop related.
So many options. Well,
Leave us a review.
oh, a good
BTW.
one.
Yeah, you can from
you
the
love-
from the
if you-
website. You can leave us.
If you
a review.
love this show, leave us a review.
Yeah, that'd be
If
great.
you have any issues with the show, write us on any of those other ways so that we can take your constructive criticism, put it to use.
We
And if
don't
you
mind
love the
construction.
show, write a review.
Yep, that's how you should do that.
Just a suggestion.
For no particular reason.
Well, now that we've got that cleared up, I guess we can take this to the break and sign off till next time when we're all back together once again. And for a very fun little podcast we'll be doing in
Yes,
a couple weeks
indeed.
or a week. So until then, she nerds out.
She nerds out. We're girls that like nerdy